All right, in this explainer, we're going to unpack a really powerful passage from the Bible, Matthew 7:7-12. The core idea we're looking at is how our private prayer life and our public actions are actually deeply connected, maybe more than we realize.
Now, this verse from Jesus is probably one you've heard before. It's right at the heart of what we're talking about. But what if it's more than just a promise? What if it's an invitation? An invitation into a much more active and profound relationship with God. Let's dig into what that really means.
So this passage is framed as God genuinely wanting a close, trusting relationship with us. Prayer, from this perspective, isn't about just performing a ritual or making a list of demands. It's really the main way we connect with Him on a personal level and look for His guidance.
To really get this, Jesus' teaching here is broken down into two foundational pillars. Think of it this way. One pillar supports our inner world, our relationship with God, and the other supports our outer world, how we relate to other people.
Here's a look at those two pillars. On one side, you have persistent prayer. This is our vertical connection with God, built on that ask, seek, knock principle. On the other side, we've got loving action. That's our horizontal connection with others, which Jesus sums up with the golden rule. Let's see how they're meant to work together.
Okay, let's dive into that first pillar, persistent prayer. This is all about how we communicate with God. And, it's about so much more than just the words we're saying.
What's really interesting here is how ask, seek, knock gets reframed. It's not about making demands on God like He's a genie. It's actually about expressing our complete dependence on Him, showing our trust in His wisdom, and really wanting His will to be done, not just our own.
So that brings up a pretty good question, right? If God already knows what we need, why is being persistent such a big deal in this teaching? Why not just ask one time and call it a day?
Well, it's because persistence isn't really about changing God's mind. It's about changing us. The whole process of praying persistently, it develops our patience, it deepens our faith, and it teaches us to truly rely on His timing. You see, it's in the waiting that our own hearts get transformed.
Now, let's look at that second pillar, loving action. This is where Jesus masterfully connects our private prayer life directly to our public actions. It shows they're really just two sides of the very same coin.
And this is where the golden rule comes into play. Jesus says, "So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you." The point is, how we treat people is supposed to be a direct reflection of the goodness we ask for and receive from God.
But why, though? Why does it matter so much? Why can't our faith just be a private thing between us and God? Why is how we treat other people so central to this whole idea of prayer?
Well, here's the crucial point. Faith is designed to be lived out in community. It becomes visible, it becomes tangible in the way we interact with people every single day.
As you can see, our actions really show how well we understand God's love. When we act with kindness and integrity, we're actually honoring Him. And this doesn't just help us avoid selfish behavior, it actively strengthens our relationships with both God and with the people around us.
Okay, so how do we actually combine these two pillars in a practical way? Well, we're given a pretty clear path to merge persistent prayer with loving action.
Let's just walk through these steps. First, it's about committing to regular prayer, consistently showing up. Second, we have to trust in God's wisdom and His timing. Third, that trust then translates into action, where we ask God to help us show mercy and kindness. And finally, number 4, we have to constantly examine our own motives, making sure our actions are truly guided by love.
So, to wrap it all up, prayer and action aren't two separate things on a checklist. They are a single, unified expression of a life lived in a real relationship with God.
And we're left with this beautiful prayer. It's such a powerful summary, asking for help in both areas. To be persistent in our prayers, and to be a true reflection of God's love in our actions.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the ultimate takeaway, doesn't it? Our inward persistence in prayer and our outward love in action are meant to mirror the very heart of God. So I guess the question this teaching leaves us with is, how are these two pillars working together in our own lives?